Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm the Thrift Trader, or Natalie, whatever you want to call me. This is just another one of my sales videos. I haven't made one of these in quite a while. Not necessarily because I've been busy. I don't know. I've just been, I guess, doing other things, and this just kind of got pushed back or whatever every time. So, yeah, I love making these and I love telling stories behind every item that I sell. So if you're not used to that style, then I'm sorry. I understand that could be kind of boring for some people, but that's part of the reason I actually like do this because I love learning about objects and the things that I sell. Sometimes they have some historical value, sometimes not, but yeah, and I like to tell about where I got them and everything. So if it's interesting enough to me, so yeah, and so also this is starting from the end of June till the end of July. I sold almost as many on Poshmark actually as I did on eBay. I was doing really well in June. That was still when like the pandemic was like there's a lot of shutdown. Well, shutdown was kind of still going on, and then things started opening up in I think July, at least in Louisiana. I don't know about the rest of the United States. I think I've already forgotten like when things have opened up. But yeah, so you know, in July things kind of slowed down to a crawl. I also wasn't really listing a whole lot, and in the summer my listings, I know this doesn't happen to everybody, but my sales typically die quite a bit unless I have something that people are doing all year round, like video games, and I didn't really have a lot in stock around that time because really I didn't have a lot of great stuff in stock anyway because I wasn't able to really pick up a whole lot anyway. So yeah, that's why there wasn't a whole lot. But anyway, so this first item, this is a Biloxi, Mississippi flag on it with the Confederate flag on it. And I don't typically pick up things with the Confederate flag. This came with a whole big lot of these pennants, uh, vintage pennants from like the 60s and 70s, very cool stuff. Um, and I didn't want to just throw this one away because it had the Confederate flag on it. Sometimes people just like collect these things. Unfortunately, it did kind of sell during a time when Mississippi was taking off the Confederate flag on its flag. Like, Mississippi still has a Confederate flag inside of its flag, and that became a big thing for them. And so, probably people are still buying things with Confederate flag on them because I guess it's harder and harder to get. But typically, I don't go out of my way to find stuff like that because I don't know, it's just icky. Um, but yeah, it was from probably the maybe 60s here. I put 60s, but maybe could have been as late as the 70s. Kind of not really well made. Um, but yeah, someone, I would say it probably took about, I think, 7, maybe 6 months to sell. So, next item. Oh, and that cost, like I said, I'm not used to doing these sales videos anymore. That cost around, oh, I got like a ton of them for, what was it, like $3? They were all ridiculously cheap, and I got like 20 or 30. I don't even remember anymore, but I want to say they were around like 10 cents a piece, something ridiculously cheap. And yes, it sold for 20 plus the shipping and didn't go very far, just next state over. This was a cool shirt that I found at a garage sale. It was kind of an office that was having a garage sale. And I went in and they had some clothes. And at first I was like, I don't know if I really want to get clothes. But they had some vintage sports shirts. And I have something from them I still haven't even put up yet. And but anyway, this sold for $50 after a few weeks. It's from 1999. Just a cool, vintage shirt. And it still had a little NBA sticker on it, so dead stock, probably it's obviously never washed or anything. And I got that for, I want to say, I'm having trouble. I'd have to go back to notes and all that, but I want to say it was under $3. This item I got for 50 cents at the big sale that happens every spring that I love every year. This year it wasn't quite as good for me. It was before the pandemic, but like I didn't really know where stuff was, and I was kind of late to the sale, but did manage to pick this up, and I put it up for $10. And it sold after a few months. So it wasn't a real quick seller, but people were interested in it pretty fast. So I thought it might sell a little quicker, but it was just like a plastic cup, so it was easy to ship, and it says 1965. So I think next time I'd probably put a few more bucks on it just to see, but yeah, $10 plus shipping. Then there's this Yes DVD, no, Blu-ray audio. If you ever see any DVD or Blu-ray audio, definitely pick them up because audiophiles love that stuff. This was something that I found. I believe I paid $1 for it, and it was like the first sale I went to right when garage sales opened up, I believe in May, and I remember it was still we had like a cold front or something, and it was freezing at the sale, and my nose was running, and I'm like, I kept trying to pick up. They had so much media at the sale. And I kept trying to like look up stuff and put things in a pile, but at a certain point, I was just like, I'm so cold. I just want to leave. But this sold after a few weeks for. It didn't sell for 70. I wish it did, but it did sell for $30. So it was still a pretty good sale. This was a free item, and it sold for $85 with free shipping. So I don't remember how much it cost. It cost around 15 to ship because it went to Hawaii, but I was prepared to ship it anywhere in the country. I found this on the side of the road because it was like I think April or early May, and things still weren't opened up. Like no thrift stores were opening up yet. And so I saw this free ad on Craigslist saying that they put out a bunch of computer stuff on the side of the road, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go look at it. And it was kind of a far drive, so I was like, oh, it'd be like a little nice drive in the country. So took my dog out there and picked up stuff, put it in the car, but really I didn't really look any of it up. I just kind of threw it in the car. But when I got it home, I was like, this is not really great stuff, except for this toner, of course. I mean, I knew this would sell, but I had a bunch more toner out there, but it was like recycled toner. And I didn't see that stuff really going for that much for me to bother with. So I put it all back on the curb, made a new ad for it, and someone picked it up pretty quickly. So then there was this next item. I bought this after the pandemic and at just a garage sale. And this was really an experiment. I had no idea if something like this would sell. It's just a tote bag for Buffalo Exchange. I don't see a lot of these up there, though, on eBay or any resale sites. And Buffalo Exchange is pretty popular, so I figured somebody would want this. I just didn't know how much to charge. So I want to say this was $1, and I threw it up for 10. But next time I find one of these, I'll probably charge at least 15 bucks. It was a nice bag. So this next item, I got these. They were total $6, so 3 a piece, and they were in the same section. I usually don't even check the bra section that much. I just happened to pass by it, and these caught my eye, and I was like, oh, that's Beauty and the Beast on the bottom, and Peter Pan up top, and I knew, I mean, Disney stuff like this will always sell, and I put burlesque in it just because someone in burlesque might be. I've seen all type of burlesque stuff, like nerdy burlesque, I mean, not that I go to those shows very often, but I have been to a burlesque show where they were doing like nerdy and geeky get-ups and stuff. So, yeah, I thought it might work for that. Or Disney bounding, which is where you go to Disney and you dress up like a character, but not exactly. Like you basically fashion an outfit based on a character, and I thought this could work for that as well. So I put both of those in the title. So yeah, they sold for 40 bucks and took a few weeks, but not that long. I thought it would really sell on Poshmark. I thought this would be perfect for Poshmark, but sold on eBay. This is an item, I found this for 50 cents at a Goodwill. They just had a bunch of like pretty good records out, and I got a few, and this is really the only one I sold. Um, but it took a while, but it did sell. So 50 cents into 10 bucks plus the shipping isn't bad. I knew like a Morrissey 45 would sell. I didn't even test it, so you're kind of, I guess it's a little risky not to test it, but I didn't. And I do have a record player. I could have tested it. I just didn't feel like it. This is a Wii Sports. By now, most people know that Wii Sports does pretty well. I did test it. With disc only, I don't remember how much they're going for. But I probably could have asked for a few more bucks on this. But if you have like the little sleeve for it, you can get more money. But yes, I mean, if you don't know by now, Wii Sports is a big bolo. I mean, even if they don't go for a ton of money, I mean, they're not like a $40, $50, money maker, but very good bread and butter. They sell very quickly, and that's great. So I bought this for how much? Where did I even get this at? I really just don't even remember, but I think, oh, what happened was I picked up a We Play disc in a Goodwill, and this came with it. Like there was 2 discs in the box, so I got like a 2 for 1. And of course, We Play hasn't sold yet, but this always will. So it was worth like the $3 that they wanted for We Play or whatever. This is a Godzilla little DS game. I tested it and everything and worked fine. I think I'm gonna say I basically sold this for free because I got this in a Facebook Marketplace deal while things were shut down, and I bought like a PSP and a Nintendo DS off the person, and they had several games, including Pokemon. So I think I gave them 40 for all these like games, and it was a pretty good deal. So yeah, like I sold the PSP for I think 20 and the DS for 2025, and so that paid for it right there. So all the games were free. This was a a cassette. I like picking up cassettes. They don't always sell all that well, but um, yeah, I think they only sold for 11.50 is what I wrote down. But so not a great. I think I paid $3, 50 cents a piece. So these aren't anything like great, but I just like picking up cassettes. I always look through them. Then there is this Blockbuster DVD. I always pick up Blockbuster cases, whether it's a game, DVD, VHS, no matter what it is. But it has to be this type of case. It has to be the original, like, rental case. It can't be like a paper case that says Blockbuster on it. That typically won't get you uh, the collectors. The collectors want, like, the original rental boxes. And this was unusual because it was actually it hold it held 2 discs inside, so you don't usually see them like that. So it was kind of unusual. So $20 with free shipping, and I think I sent it out first class. It's pretty light, so. Uh, okay, so Poshmark sale. I didn't get any Etsy sales this time either. I'm trying to build up Etsy, but it's been slow going. Most things that I put on Etsy sell faster on eBay lately. Just depends on the item. But anyway, rotary phones are great to sell on Poshmark because, as most of you know, the weight goes up to 5 pounds, and rotary phones are always, unless you find one that's weird, they're always under 5 pounds. So you can basically put them in any kind of box you want, put as much stuffing, as long as it's not over 5 pounds. So I love when they sell on Poshmark. And this was one from, I actually didn't know this until I did some research, and of course I put out that whole rotary phone video, but I looked at this a little closer. I don't know where the picture is, but uh, it's from the 70s. So you can find out from the bottom, and this isn't a very good picture of it, but if you look at the bottom, it's always stamped like the original date of the inspection, which is basically like what you go by. So, yeah, 35, and my profit was probably 28 or so, whatever 20% of 35 is. I bought this for, I actually got this for $5. On a white one, I don't pay more than that. Uh, this was a cool Knicks hat. I kind of wish I would have tried to get more for it. It was vintage 1986, still had the tag on it, didn't have any stains, looked unworn, but eventually someone gave me an offer for 35, and it had been sitting around for maybe not too long, but I just kind of wanted to move stuff, I guess. So I took a $35 offer, and I bought this at that same sale where I got those like sports shirts at. So I want to say this was like a $3 purchase. This was a cool shirt that I just found at Goodwill one day. It was vintage. I knew from the graphic Native American stuff does pretty well, and it had like the artist that did it, Butch Fink. So it was a cool shirt, and it didn't have much wear on it at all. I believe it was single stitch. Yeah, single stitch, 1989. So if you ever find shirts from like the 80s or whatever, and they're single stitch, I would always put them up because people are always looking out for single stitch, and 80s shirts tend to do pretty well. So 25 on that. Then this is a purse from my purse sale back in, no, my purse haul that I got from ThreadUp months and months ago. I think I took all that out in February, I believe. But yeah, woven purses I think do pretty well. Like people are looking out for, at least at the time of beginning of this year, they seem to be doing pretty well. So this sold for 25. It did take a few months. It's taken a few months for most of those purses, honestly, but they are selling like every once in a while. Um, Nightmare on Elm Street shirt. If you ever pick up, or if you ever find horror t-shirts, they will always, they do well. And this one had a lot of pilling on it. It was not a perfect shirt at all. Um, so I see all that. That was like all over the shirt. But I was kind of I wanted the 25, and someone just bought it. Someone just outright bought it for $25. So that was pretty good. Oh, and I bought that at Goodwill for $2. This was a mug that I paid way too much for. I paid $2 for it and only got $10 on Poshmark, but I didn't have to worry about the shipping, which if it sells on eBay, basically what I do for mugs is I put it in a small box and put it in a padded shipper, so it'll go for like the under $8 mark. But on Poshmark, you can just put it in whatever box. So it's kind of helpful in that way. I don't have to really like worry about, it breaking as much, which I've never had a mug break anyway, but still. So yeah, $2 into 10, and I didn't even make 10 because of the $20, 20% profit, or 20% fees, you got me. So this was a super fail. Okay, so I'm not sure what happened here, but the post office they took forever in scanning the label. And so Poshmark thought I just never sent it. And I'm like, no, I did send this, like on this day. And the Poshmark customer service, like, isn't that great. They kept telling me, like, please send this, please send this. And I'm like, I did. And then finally they were like, well, since you didn't send this, we're canceling this order. And then once it started tracking, they said, oh, well, Now it's tracking. We'll tell the buyer and see what they want to do. I never heard back from them. I don't think I got my $8 or whatever I got from the sale. This was a $2 shirt at Goodwill. So it wasn't a big deal that I lost $2 on this, but like still, I mean, and Poshmark paid for the shipping and everything, so I literally only lost $2 on this. But it was a nice shirt. It was like Russian cathedral. I mean, it was really pretty. So you just hate to lose stuff like that. And it was single stitch, of course. So the person definitely got it because I looked up the tracking and that I saw that it was delivered. But yeah, it just. And then Poshmark started threatening me, saying like, you need to start sending your stuff because that's the second time that that has happened. And I'm like, it's frustrating because I am sending the stuff, just 2 times very close together. They did not, the post office didn't pick up the tracking in time. So anyway, this was another fail. I love this little like flat sheet. Is Harry Potter made in 2000 vintage blank vintage sheet. It was just the one sheet, but still, and got ton of likes on it. I think I had watchers on eBay, but no one was biting. Finally, it sold for, I think someone was like haggling back and forth with me, so finally I just gave it to them for $8. But I want to say I paid $1 or $2 for this, so I would still pick it up again, but I would try to get more money for this because I really think it was worth it. Anyway, I have gone on to almost 22 minutes. I will try to be faster the next time. Like I said, I'm just not used to doing my sales as usual. But I hope you got anything out of that. Let me know what your favorite thing was. I love comments. You don't even have to like. You can dislike if you want to. But yeah, tell me which thing you liked or hated or whatever. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Bye.